Welcome, brethren, to this devotion. I am Reverend Timothy Kibor, and today I want us to see an encouragement from the book of First Kings, chapter 6, verses 7. We want to speak about something that Solomon was doing here so that it can encourage our lives and encourage us as we forge ahead as we wait the second coming of Jesus. Bible says in the book of First Kings, chapter 6, verses 7, Bible says, in building the temple, only blocks traced at the quarry were used, and no hammer, chisel, or any other iron tool was at the temple site while it was being built. The children of Israel were building the temple, and the stones that were brought from the quarry site were already chiseled. The work was going on without any noise. No chisel was heard in the quarry site, in the building site of the temple. And therefore, the work progressed without that noise. I want today to speak about building in silence. In anything that you are building, be it your home, be it a church project, be it your career, a career that is built in silence. Building in silence gives us much lessons than building in noise. Many people, why they are not progressing is because of too much noise they are making. Remember, the children of Israel were being asked to rotate around the wall of Jericho, keep quiet. The only time they were given to make noise was the last lap, and the 7th round they were told to scream. When you are doing a project, you wanted to buy a car, you wanted to have a wedding, you wanted to marry somebody, to buy noise in early stages will ruin your party. Make noise when you have said, yes, I do. That is the only time you can be allowed to make noise when people celebrate and do many things. Brethren, as we are serving God, as we are praying God of heaven, there are people in the world who are not praying God of heaven. They are praying some other things which are powerful to them and will go sit back. And therefore, in building the temple, the children of Israel used blocks that were choked in quarry, and no hammer, chisel, or any other iron tool that was in the temple site. King Solomon built the temple according to God's instruction. What remarkable today is that the stones were fully prepared at the quarry site before being brought to the temple. As a result, there was no noise or armors or chisel at the construction site. This teaches us that God often does His deepest work in our lives quietly before displaying His glory publicly. Therefore, friends, there are points that I want to mention here that will help us do our work quietly. Be it building our homes, be it building our institutions, be it building our church, be it building our reputation. You must go as per the precepts of God and how God works quietly before displaying things publicly. Number one, God prepares His people before He uses them. As the stones were prepared in the quarry site, it is so with us. God is preparing for us. The story of cutting shortcut is neither here nor there. You want to be a pastor, prepare yourself to go to school and be taught for 3 years to get on hand a diploma. Many people today desire shortcuts. Even students, when they are sitting for exam, they are giving pressure their teachers that they want to stall an exam. You get people who are not right even to work in different institutions because they are quacks. They never practice patience. And therefore, God prepares people. God prepares his people before he uses them silently. The stones were separated before they reached the temple. God also prepared his servants before assigning them great responsibilities. There is nobody who is having a great responsibility without preparation. All these people are being prepared. People are being mentored so that they can take a task without them being failures. Most of the things that we see and we witness around our country is because people are not prepared. People are quacks. People are rushing and rushing in cutting shortcuts to be just a mighty man all of a sudden, all overnight. Nothing like that works. There are people who are silent somewhere. We don't know even if they are in colleges, but God is preparing them for mighty job. Never despise the reason of preparation. God is shaping your character before revealing your calling. Number 2, God's greatest work often happens in silence. Greatest work of God happens in silence. When you get people who are noisemakers, they don't do much in life because they are exposing themselves to a people or a group of people who feel irritated with what they are doing. Walk in silence. Walk in prayer. May God know your plans. But to come to rush and announce to everybody who others may not be having a good will, you are just preparing yourself for failure. Therefore, friends, there was no noise in the temple site. Many people expect God to work only through dramatic miracles, but often they don't want to walk quietly to achieve great things in life. Days of miracles are happening. All of a sudden you are a millionaire. Does not exist in God's calendar. It is unless you walk in silence and you indulge yourself into that walk and walk diligently to the extent when you are just making noise publicly, you have made it. Then that is what God is encouraging this day. Silence does not mean that God has abandoned you. It means that God is walking where you cannot see. When you read Psalm 46 verses 10, it will give you the real explanation of that. Number 3, friends, as we encourage each other, we are saying God removes rough edges. Bible says the stones were chopped that it fits its. As the builders were building, the stones were fitting each other. Therefore, in our lives, God is removing rough edges so that when He uses us for building, we fit the purposes of God. The stones had to be cut and be shaped before they fit together. That is why the Bible says there was no noise in the building site where the builders were building. Why are we experiencing noise in our churches? It's because there are people with rough edges. Their edges have never been shaped. Likewise, God removes many things in our life as He shapes us. One of the things that we desire God to shape is pride. People who are living around with pride, moving with pride, those are edges that are unwanted in building. Another thing is anger. People who cannot manage their anger, everywhere they are going is emotional. They cannot manage their anger, they cannot cool down. That is an edge and rough edge that needs to be shaped to us to fit a building. Another thing is impatience, fear and unbelief. These are the things that we want to pray God to shape for us. So that when we are faced with challenges, when we are faced with things that are ahead of us, we will have come mature and we will face things soberly because God has shaped us we are fitting the foundation, we are fitting the building, we are fitting the work of God. Therefore, friends, what we are desiring is the process of being prepared so that we fit the work of God as per what is written in the book of Romans chapter 8, verse 28 to 29. Number 4 point that I want us to share today. Every believer is a living stone. We must be shaped. Unless you don't want to be shaped, then you are out of God's will. We have never reached where we are going and the destination. Even me as a pastor, I am still being shaped. There are things that I want to go to shape so that I fit the gate of heaven. The temple was being built with care. And the foodies and the people who were building had prepared the stones. Today, believers are in God's spiritual house. Each Christian has a place in God's building. And you must allow God to shape you to fit that building of God. What are you doing in church? What are you doing in this country for God? How are you ambassador in that office that you are working? Are you a stone that can fit the building of God in that institution? Or you are just about some guy that you forget your standard where you have come from as a child of God. I want to encourage you and tell you that you are a stone, a living stone that you need to be shaped for the purpose of God. The last point, remember I have said, number 1, God prepares his people before he uses them. Number 2, God's greatest work often happens in silence. Number 3, I've said God removes rough edges in our lives so that we fit the building. And number 4, I said every believer is a living stone. Number 5, I am saying the glory comes after preparation. When God has prepared us, when God has shaped us, when God has made us fit the building, his glory comes. After the temple was completed, God's glory filled it as it is in the book of 1 Kings chapter 8 verses 10 to 11. God rested his glory in his house because it had been completed. Likewise, after God finished its work in our lives, his glory will rest upon us. And that is our desire. That is what we are desiring as servants of God. That's what we are desiring as children of God. James chapter 1 verse 2 to 4 can give you the more insight about God's glory in us. God is still building in his people today. If you are in a season of waiting, pruning or hidden promotion, do not lose heart. The quarry is not your destination. The stones in the quarry, that was not their destination. Their destination was the building site. And I am encouraging you that you are not reaching your destination. You are still being shaped. You are being chopped to fit the work of God. Be patient and wait God to chop you so that you can fit his building. Accept God's process of preparation. Remain faithful during silent season. Allow God to remove anything that does not honor him in your life. Let us allow. One of the mistakes that people don't want to know is when you are telling somebody you are wrong, it becomes difficult to understand. But God is shaping us anyway. We are not 100%. We have weaknesses. And if we are humble enough to allow God to shape us, we will do the will of God without any hesitation. Trust God is preparing you for a greater purpose. Allow him to shape you. Remember that God's glory follows obedience. Let us be obedient and wait God to use us for his building and purposes. God bless you. God see you. May God use you in wherever field that you are.